Hi, this is David Sanchez, and welcome to Real Talk with Strike Out Against Drugs.
For some reason, the lifestyle fascinated me, and I guess because I thought it was going to be fun.
You think it might be innocent, or just using it once, or just using it to have fun.
It does look like all fun and party and happy times, but drugs are the 100% complete opposite.
It was literally that quick. I let my guard down, I tried it, and that was it. That was the end of it.
I just happened to do the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Hi, welcome back to Real Talk with Strike Out Against Drugs. Today we have a special guest, a young man that has been through a lot of stuff in his life. A lot of us know us from out there in the South Bay area. We want to welcome Mr. Jason Schlagel to the table. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, I want to say thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and thanks to Strike Out Against Drugs, and thank you, David. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Amen, brother. Thanks for coming. So we want to kind of talk about some of the stuff that has happened in your life. We know that, being out there doing the stuff that, we all were doing out there at some time kind of put this stigma on us of the way people think about us, the way people react to us and stuff like that. So we want to kind of go back to the beginning with you.
The beginning, I guess my beginning started around, I'd say about 9 years old. My parents got a divorce. I grew up in a nice area. I had a very nice childhood, but that divorce made a big impact on my life.
Right.
And, I've done a lot of work on it, and so basically, when you're a young kid, you don't really realize, you don't understand what divorce is. You might think like divorce, oh, that's not that big of a deal. It was a huge deal in my life. And, I moved to another neighborhood, and after I moved to that new neighborhood, I didn't know what the word fight was. I didn't know what breaking windows were. I didn't know any of those kind of things, and I was put in this environment where that's the beginning of my manipulation.
Right.
Because I wanted to fit in. I wanted everyone to like me, So yeah, that was the beginning of where my mind started to go down the wrong path. And when I was about 11 years old was when I took my first pill of Valium and drank some alcohol. And I remember being against. I remember saying no to drugs in school. Mm-hmm. Remember being against that, and I went off-roading with some guy, and I took the pill, and later on I drank some alcohol, and that was the first. That's when I was sexually assaulted. At the age of 11. And when you're 11 years old, you don't understand nothing like that. So I blacked it out for a lot of years. And shortly after that, I was introduced to marijuana, and very, very shortly after that was methamphetamine, and that's what just destroyed my life.
So what changes happened from being, little Jason to graduating to, this terrible thing that happened to you, to graduating to using drugs and stuff like that? What kind of circle did that create in your life?
The circle that it created in my life was just devastating. Violence. It created. I developed masks, layer after layer after layer after layer, and I became a master manipulator. If I wanted something, I knew how to get it just by transforming in this little kid into this person that just wanted to be accepted. And there was a lot of gang life in my life, and I grew up in a neighborhood that was very bad, and that's a predominantly Mexican and black neighborhood, and there was a lot of Latino gangs, and so I started running with them.
Right.
And then later on in life, I started running with a lot of skinheads, and it was horrible, and I've been to prison 5 different times, numerous violations.
How much time have you done in prison?
I've probably done at least 10 years of my life, and that's probably an undercut.
Right.
You know, and it feels like you're in the bottom of a pit, you know, with the addiction and the recidivism over and over and over, and it feels like you're at the bottom of a pit and you just can't get out, and like you feel like there's no hope, you know. And I was arrested in December 17th, 2017, and I came to a point in my life where like all those bad things that happened to me were on my shoulders, and I was tired. I was sick of the hate. I was sick of the violence. I was sick of. I knew that people didn't like me. I knew no one wanted me in their house. I knew that they didn't want me around. You know, all these years I thought, oh yeah, people want me to hang out with them. No, they cringed when I walked through the door. You know, so all those things coming to a head, I had a spiritual breakdown, and it was a very simple prayer. I just got on my knees, and I wasn't even facing a lot of time. That wasn't even the point. I've done plenty of prison time. I was just tired, and I wanted something. I knew I was capable of doing something more than what I was doing. So I prayed to the Lord, and all I said was, "Teach me how to live." You know, and slowly and surely, I started listening to that voice in my head. After that prayer, he just guided me and said, "You know, do everything opposite of what you used to do."
Right.
And that's what I did. And I started, then I started grabbing out like secular things like SAP program in prison, cognitive therapy, just anything that I thought that was going to better me, celebrate recovery, Gogi, anything, church. I love church. You know, I love to worship. And little by little, that callous heart turned into a heart of love. And
You know, I've always preached and I've always believed that the things that we went through in our past was a training ground for what we're going to be doing in the future. And, you know, God allowed us to survive, still be here, and be able to reach out to others, you know, through video, through face-to-face, you know, whatever it is that he had you do. Let's go back to when this happened, this inner feeling happened for you. Was it just right after that prayer, or was it something that kind of just started leading towards that way? Maybe you understood a message that you didn't understand before. Maybe somebody said something that you've seen in a different way than you would have seen with a callous mind or a calloused heart. Because it's very interesting. You know, a lot of people that you know we grew up with, we've known each other for a long time, and a lot of people that we grew up with, I've been noticing that. When I see their Facebook posts and their social media posts, there's a lot of leaning towards God's will on them. That, you know, people that you would have never thought. I mean, look at me and you. And, you know, I see this stuff and I'm thinking, wow, you know, God's doing some amazing work in my world. My world meaning the people that are in my particular world.
Amen.
And sometimes I think, is he doing that to send me a message? Or some kind of confirmation? And sometimes I think, is he working with me to give them confirmation? You know, if David can do it, then anybody can do it. If Jason can do it, then anybody can do it type of thing. Because, you know, let's face it, we were no walk in the park when we were, you know, out there doing our dirty deeds and things like that. So, I know how it happened with me, and I'm always curious to hear the story of how the Spirit grabbed you, and how did that exactly happen? And everybody really wants to know because this is a big thing.
No, it is. It's huge. And I think you said a lot. You know, you said a lot. You're completely right. After I made that prayer and I said that prayer, I didn't even realize I was saying that prayer and what was going on at that moment until later. Right. And you know, it's just that And later on I learned that when you're born again and you accept Jesus Christ in your heart, that conscience that voice in your head is not a voice in your head. That's the Holy Spirit. And later on I learned that, whoa, that's what was guiding me. That's what was telling me not to call anybody when I was in prison. That's what was telling me not to write letters to anybody outside of Christian brothers, churches, and my mom and my aunt. You know, and I listened to that voice. And later on, one of the Christian brothers that I had met in my walk explained that to me, and I was like, whoa, I got the revelation, like, that's how it was happening.
Right.
And you're right. As my walk, you know, maybe 5 or 6 months after I gave my life to the Lord, things started making sense. And I started realizing, like, whoa, that's why that happened, you know, and I started getting revelations all the time. And after I said that prayer, I couldn't get enough of the Bible. And now I think it's because I lived such a life of hatred and violence and manipulation that none of that is what the Bible stands for. You know, it's the book of truth, and I was not that. So when I read that book, it was just grabbing me. It was just grabbing me, and I liked everything in it. I liked the stories, I liked the characters, I liked the messages, and I liked the way it made me feel. It made me feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And then I started to realize, like, this peace and joy that I got, I want everyone to have this. You know? Yes. Whatever I can do for someone to feel the way I feel on a daily basis. When I get up in the morning and I pray and I listen to worship music and I read the Word, I want everyone to be able to experience that and have that relationship with the Lord. And another big thing in my walk was messages. There was somebody that was put in my life early in my walk that taught me a certain few things, and messages was one of them. And I learned how to receive messages early in my walk, and I think that helped me develop my relationship with the Lord real fast because I was obedient. I was hungry. I like this new thing called love, you know? And maybe that's I'm sure I've been missing that my whole life, you know, since my childhood. Since I grew up on I like to call it the Leave It to Beaver Street, you know? And that peace and joy is just amazing, you know?
Well, you know, and here's the honest to God truth. I don't remember ever really having any type of joy or being happy. I mean, truly being happy in my life. Right. There was times of joy, right. Little parts of joy, but I don't ever remember truly being happy with just everything and accepting everything and being happy with what I have, what I don't have, what I can't have, what I'm never going to have, and just being okay with it and happy with David. Is that kind of how you feel today?
Yeah, very much so. Extremely. And I know we've talked about it the other day, and yeah, I do. I've had happy times in my life, you know, right. And I don't want to take away from anything that happened before I was saved, you know. I got a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids. I just found out, I have a lot of things that I went through that were peace and joy. And I don't want to take anything away from that. But it would have been so much different if I had the Lord in my life. But I had to go through everything, like you said, we went through to be the person I am today. And I mean, I've only been out of prison for 2 weeks, and the Lord has restored my whole family. I talked to all 4 of my kids. I had a son that I never even knew about that's back in my life. He's 24 years old. He's a beautiful, handsome young man named Roberto, and we talk every day on the phone. Like, all these things are just truly amazing. You know, I have a 4-year-old, and he's back in my life. Corey and Kyle are back in my life. I got you in my life, my mom. I mean, everybody around me is all positive, and none of this would have happened if I wouldn't have given my life to the Lord. You know, I lost my dad. Yeah, you know, I lost my dad, and I didn't lose my dad. My dad just went to a good place. Right. And the passing was just so comforting. God showed me his unfailing love through that. And I'm very blessed to be able to experience it in that way because, you know, not everybody gets the opportunity for a death to be so comforting.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got messages from my father before he passed away. Not everybody gets that. And I wouldn't have gotten none of that if I wouldn't have gave my life to the Lord.
Amen.
You know?
Amen. You know, there's a lot of times that I'm not able to bring spirituality into my presentations when I go to schools and things like that. But in this setting right here, we get to really, you know, spread our wings and talk about things that really matter in our lives and in other people's lives and stuff like that. I want to thank you for coming on the show. So 1 minute, if you were to give somebody advice, somebody that's where we used to be, living the life that we used to live, look right into the camera and give it to them.
All right. I just want you to know that there's hope out there. And if you can just understand me right now and give your whole heart to the Lord and surrender and just let Him do it. If you could just understand that and let Him do it, He will do amazing things. And in the simplest way, that's the best way I can say it, is just open up your heart and surrender. You have to let Him work through you and let Him take the wheel. And that's the best way I can explain it, David.
All right. So this comes to the end of our today's show. Again, I want to thank you, brother, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Again, you know, what I was saying before is sometimes people get a chance to make a decision that's going to benefit them. You know, all the time that we do in prison and all the people that leave us and all the stuff that we go through is a stepping stone to make you into another type of person that God, you know, would want you to be. And it's important that we have these types of testimonies that people can see that, you know, if given the right circumstance and given the right knowledge and given the right way to, the right direction to go in, whether it's through spiritual, whether it's through counseling, most people will succeed in life.
Right.
It just depends on how that message is given to them that they can start to give it to other people. So again, thank you guys for watching. We're going to put this on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook, and it will be on the Strikeout Against Drugs website. You can go to the website at www.strikeoutagainstdrugs.com, and there's all kinds of stuff in there that have to do with addiction, things like that. And now we will have the very first spiritual thing in there with Jason Schlagel. So again, thank you guys. We'll see you next week with another guest, another topic. Remember, our cameraman is doing the best he can with what we got. We're not funded by anybody. This is kind of just in our basement. We just want to kind of give positive messages out while we're in this COVID-19 situation. I hope everybody is staying safe and everybody is wearing their masks and everybody is staying home with the directions of our governor, mayors, and all those people so that we can try to get through this. Please, please stay safe and God bless you. Good night.